I understand, based upon previous lectures given, it's okay if a doctor takes on a religious role. So I want to tell you, high-protein diets are evil. And we're going to talk about the evils of high-protein diets. And you know, I really do feel that way, honestly. The harm that's done to people, the environment, by high-protein diets is immeasurable. There's something very wrong going on in the world today. There was a time, I guess it was about 12 years ago, when the science was so clear, and the science is still clear, that's not a problem. The science continues to pile up and to support the fact that a diet that best supports human health in this whole world is a diet based on plants. But about 12 years ago, I thought there was nothing that was going to stop this message. And I was wrong. I mean, I was caught by surprise. High-protein diets are what your friends and relatives believe in and think are going to solve their weight problems and their health problems, which is so far from science. I had a chance to debate this issue in front of the United States Department of Agriculture February 24th of the year 2000. And following that, there was this Newsweek article. And if you look at the bottom of the page, you see all those pork rinds. And the question that came up from many people, is it true that Dr. McDougall hit Dr. Atkins in the head with a pork rind? I mean, the picture's right there. What can I say? Well, this was the great debate, and this great debate did solve many things, and it was a very important debate. But the debate on good nutrition has been going on for a long time. Russell Henry Chittenden in 1904 said the following: "We hear on all sides widely divergent views regarding the needs of the body as to the extent and character of food requirements, contradictory statements as to the relative merits of animal and vegetable foods. Indeed, there is great lack of agreement regarding many of the fundamental questions that constantly arise in any consideration of nutrition of the human body." That was 100 years ago. And today we're doing the same thing, arguing about whether or not plant foods or animal foods are best for people. And I'm absolutely amazed that that argument continues, but I have to believe it's not going to stop. So I have to ask you to look around and decide for yourself what the truth is. And I'm going to help you do that. Russell Henry Chittenden wasn't sure, but I'm sure what the truth is in terms of good health and good nutrition. I'm not confused a bit. And one of the reasons I'm not confused is because of experience that I have and experiences that you've had. For example, one day about a year ago, I was in a restaurant in Hawaii. And this young lady came up to me with the camera and she said, "Could I take your picture? $10. And I said, "No. But the family off here to my left, would you take their picture?" And so she did, and she came back and she sold it to me for $10. And then I said to her, "The family on my right, could you take their picture for me?" And they did. And she came back and she sold me the picture. What happened? What happened between the first and second generation, those people consuming mostly rice and vegetables, the first generation, actually we're speaking Japanese at the table next to us, and the third and fourth generation? Did they change their genetics? No, you know what happened, is they changed their diet. And you can see that. All over the world, if you look at populations of people, you can see that people who live on diets based on carbohydrate, plant foods, are trim, healthy, young-looking, hardy people who avoid the diseases that are common to people in this country. And when these people from Africa, the Middle East, or the Far East move to the United States or Western Europe, they lose their immunity to obesity and to sickness. They get fat and sick. Whenever I start a debate with one of the high-protein gurus, I always started out the same way. You see, high-protein advocates, what they do is they tell you that carbohydrate, which is the primary substance of calories in plant foods, they say carbohydrate is bad for you. Carbohydrate turns to sugar and makes you fat. And of course, people not knowing the real science behind it say, well, that makes sense. Carbohydrate turns to sugar and makes you fat, so carbohydrate's bad for you. And so what I always start my debates with is the following. If carbohydrate were bad for you, then when you looked at Japan, you'd see fat, sickly, lethargic people. And when those Japanese people moved to your hometown and ate less rice and more protein, they would become thinner and healthier looking. Is that what you see? You can go to an airport, you watch National Geographic, you can travel around the world, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. In Africa, the first case of lupus was described in 1960, and the first case of rheumatoid arthritis was described in 1957. Yet in the United States today, the highest incidence of those two life-threatening diseases is among the African Americans. So what happened in 40 years? There were 76 cases of prostate cancer in Japan after World War II. In this country, there are 100,000 cases a year. And in Japan, the incidence is rising rapidly as they change to the American diet. So you should never be fooled again. We really shouldn't be debating this issue because science is clear as to what the truth is. The Surgeon General of the United States, he gathered 360 scientists. He asked them to look at the scientific literature and compile a report, and that was done and finished in 1988. The Surgeon General's report told us that the leading cause of death and disability in our country is the rich American diet. He said 5 of the 10 leading causes are due to our diet, and he listed those as being cancer, strokes, diabetes, atherosclerosis, and other forms of heart disease. 5 of the 10 leading causes are due to our diet. And then he said if you include alcohol, which is another substance that passes under your eyes and right through your lips, something you have the potential to control, then you have 3 or 4 of the other leading causes of death, which are accidents, cirrhosis of the liver, suicide, which can be divided into suicide and homicide. So see, the Surgeon General is telling you and I something very liberating, something really essential for us to know as people who want control of our future. As I was growing up, I was raised with the idea that my future health depended upon genetics, the wrath of God, bad luck, all which may be true, but I can't control those things. Whereas what I can control is how I live and what I eat. And with that kind of information, believing what the Surgeon General says, I have the opportunity to determine my future. I am not a helpless victim, and you don't have to be either. So these 360 scientists, they got together, and what did they say? They said that the disproportionate consumption of foods high in fats, often at the expense of foods high in complex carbohydrates and fiber, that may be more conducive to health is the problem. We're not eating enough carbohydrate, not eating enough plant foods. And every single bit of scientific research that's been published since then and before then says the same thing. But people are following high-protein diets. Diets like the Atkins diet, the Heller's diet, called the Carbohydrate Addicts diet, the Sugar Busters, Protein Power, the Zone. You know these names. These are the books that have dominated the bookshelves in bookstores for the last 11 years. I was told, about 10 years ago, my publisher said, McDougall, says, you're the diet doctor of the 80s. Get with it. Write yourself a high-protein diet book for the 90s. The heck with my principles, just get with it. Well, from an economic point of view, they were absolutely right. High-protein diets have dominated in the last 10 years. And in those 10 years, let's look at what's happened to obesity in this country. According to the CDC, obesity occurred in 12% of people in this country in 1991. Obesity, that means you're carrying around another half a person. That's really big. Well, in the 10 years that high-protein diets ruled, obesity increased to 18% in 1998. And actually in 1999, it was up to 19%. And there's every reason to believe that here in 2001, 21% of the population in this country is obese. Now, Tufts University, using a little different definition, and that is too fat for your own good, said that 63% of men and 55% of women are too overweight for good health. High-protein diets have done some good. They've made people aware of the harmful effects of sugar and refined food, and that's good. And I have to say, it's probably something I didn't emphasize enough to people. Refined foods and sugar are harmful to health. I always knew it. I always talked about it. But now that the high-protein diets have made it a major point of interest, I feel like it needs to be emphasized even more for myself. The other thing is these high-protein diets have caused people to lose weight, sometimes quickly, but rarely permanently, as we'll see in just a minute. Now, one thing in common that all high-protein diets have is the theory that insulin is an evil hormone. And the reason people are fat is because the body makes too much insulin. Now, insulin is a hormone that's made in the pancreas. Its job is to distribute all the things that you eat. So when you eat, you take in carbohydrate that is allowed by insulin to get through the cell walls into the inside of the cell so it can be burnt. Insulin takes the fat that you eat and it stuffs it in your fat cells. And of course, that's where the idea comes that insulin is the evil hormone and makes you fat. But as every one of you knows, without insulin, you would die. Insulin is not an evil hormone. Insulin is a necessary hormone for life. Well, they say the problem is when you eat carbohydrates, what happens is you make too much insulin. And so the solution to the problem is to not eat all that rice and potatoes and porridge. Instead, to eat lots of meat and chicken and cheese. That's what they say. And that way you'll keep your insulin down. The problem is they don't read the scientific literature. In a major study, in fact, the classic study on this particular question, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 1997, they looked at the insulin response of various foods. They called it an insulin score. That's how much insulin is produced by feeding subjects a certain number of calories of these foods. And what they found is brown pasta produced less insulin than beef. And white pasta, less insulin than cheese. And porridge, less insulin than fish. So how do they get off telling you that carbohydrates are evil because they cause so much insulin production, and the way to counter it is to eat high-protein foods? Well, they do it because they don't really care whether they're telling you the truth or not. An effective program to lower insulin, and it might be a good idea, because as I told you, insulin forces fat into the fat cells, and so you want lower insulin levels for that reason. But the most effective way to lower insulin is by exercising and eating a high complex carbohydrate diet. For example, in the Pritikin program, they looked at subjects over a 3-week period of time, feeding them a diet that was 80% carbohydrate, 10% protein, 10% fat. They looked at diabetics, people with insulin resistance, and normal people, and they found that you cut the insulin about in half with this kind of program. They also dropped the triglycerides, the fats in the blood, almost in half too, which, by the way, if you're familiar with high-protein diet gurus, you know that they tell you that carbohydrates are bad because they raise your triglycerides and will give you more heart disease, which is contrary to the research and to the geographic distribution of heart disease. There's something else about food besides its insulin response. And I want to just divert here for a second because there have been lots of diets out there that have taken individual aspects of food and built entire books around them. For example, you have heard people talk about glycemic index. That's the rise in blood sugar that occurs after you eat. There have been whole books, whole diet books based around glycemic index. Well, glycemic index is just one thing that happens when you eat. Insulin response is one thing that happens after you eat. There are many things, many hormone changes that take place. It's very complex and interrelated and really not totally understood. But I think one of the most important things about food when you eat is its ability to satisfy you. I mean, that's why I eat, so that I get satisfied. And so what do we see in terms of satisfaction of various foods? We find, for example, that potatoes, which, by the way, they tell you is an evil food because it raises the glycemic index so high. Potatoes is one of the most satisfying food that people eat. It's 7 times as satisfying as croissants and twice as satisfying as beef and cheese. Now, let's talk about how low-carbohydrate, high-protein diets work. There are 2 different kinds. One is the very restricted carbohydrate diets that are prescribed by Dr. Atkins and Dr. Eads of Protein Power. The way these diets work is they restrict carbohydrates so severely that the body has to burn fat. either fat from the food or fat from the body. You say, well, that's good. Well, okay, in part it's good. As a result of fat metabolism, the breakdown product of fat, and when it's being metabolized, is called ketones. And ketones are substances that appear in the urine. So when you're on these kinds of diets, you're checking your urine with a little ketone stick to make sure you're on the diet properly. Ketones suppress the hunger drive. And as a result, you're not hungry when you're on these kinds of diets. And that all sounds good up to now, doesn't it? But let's take a look at this for a minute. The production of ketones is something that occurs naturally. It's a mechanism the body uses so that when you're sick, you're not gathering and preparing food. Instead, you're recuperating. When you're sick, you're supposed to be resting. You're not supposed to be ravenously hungry. And so you go into ketosis when you're ill, and it suppresses the hunger drive. So it is a mechanism normally utilized when people become ill. And that's one of the reasons I call these kinds of diets the make yourself sick diet. The other reason I call them the make yourself sick diets is the very foods they recommend are the ones that the Heart Association and Cancer Society tell you will give us our most dreaded diseases.